I'm Q-Bert, and I've got all the right moves. I've got the legs, too. First an arcade game, now my own home video game. I'm ready for anything. Staying away from creeps like Ugg and Coily takes a quick mind and lots of fancy footwork. The longer I hop around, the more they're out to get me. Ugh! When they said fame would go to my head, they weren't kidding.
Now for all popular systems.
Not easy being Q-Bert, but it's fun.
Hi everybody, thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. My friend Harold, who runs Chizcom, a marketing company, one of their vendors is actually Super Impulse. So they sent me in the mail a Q-Bert to test out. Now Q-Bert's kind of cool. A lot of people probably remember him from Wreck-It Ralph or Pixels. But Q-Bert goes all the way back to the 80s. And the arcade game had a couple of firsts. One was that the joystick wasn't a standard up, down, left, and right. It was all diagonals, which is very new for the time frame. And he actually curses. Of course, he curses in Q-Bert's language, but it was still kind of cool to see, a game with some speech in it, and you could tell obviously he was cursing when he got hit in the head. So this is their take on the Q-Bert. So let's have a little look at the Super Impulse Q-Bert. Okay, we can see that they're still using their standard style, which is a clear plastic container here with an opening here where you can go in and press and start a demo mode. These do include the 3 AA batteries from the factory, so you can play it right out of the box. But the box art, once again, is very nice. I mean, I do like these smaller boxes they started doing with Walmart. Now, generally, you can get these at Walmart for about $13, $12.95. Cracker Barrel, about $19.95. And in eBay, usually around $24. But they're all pretty good. You can see the standard artwork they did was still very nice. World's smallest fully functional arcade game. Joystick button controls. Now, if you look on the front, there's actually the joystick, which I can tell you already is set up properly. It is set up for diagonals, not the standard left and right. But there are 2 buttons. One button will be for your coin start the game. The other button is actually used for when you put in your high scores. It doesn't save you high scores when it's turned off, but as long as the machine's on, it will save you high scores. And once again, the artwork is really nice. You can see it is a keychain on the back here. Now, one thing I've said a couple of times in the past, I hope Super Impulse does listen. Hallmark sells these little non-functional, like Donkey Kong, Galaxian type cases. You just turn them on and they light up. These actually work, and a lot of people really would like to have an option where when you turn it on, it'll stay on in demo mode, and they can put on their Christmas trees. Believe it or not, people do want to put these and decorate their Christmas trees with all their tiny little Super Impulse machines. And again, with Hallmark making machines for that purpose, I think Super Impulse can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, sell even more of these during the holiday season to use as Christmas ornaments. But for right now, let's take this out of the box. It's standard box here, so I'm going to pop this thing open here. Now, the one thing I did notice is they changed how it's held in the box. Before, it was a sleeve. You could pull the whole device out and it would clip apart. They kind of changed it now. I'm not a fan of this lip method here, I guess, but it's not that big a deal. The cases can be put away anyway. And we have here our Q-Bert. Now, one thing I can tell you I don't like off the top, I kind of know what they're trying to do is they put 2 little coin stickers here on the front. I don't like how the coin stickers are like that. They would have been much better putting a coin sticker, Q-Bert, and a coin sticker on the other side. That just doesn't look right. And to me personally, it kind of cheapens how the device looks. But it is their standard little case here, and these cases are quite solid and quite robust. The decals themselves, you can see on the side here, is put on very well. There's no little bubbles or imperfections on that. Once again, in the back we have our on-off switch, we have our keychain, and they do include the 3 AAA batteries. So if it's working fine, you can play it. If not, you will have to replace them. And you can see again on the other side, the artwork is put on very well. The one thing I did notice was on the front, the actual marquee. Now the marquees light up on these tiny arcades, which is awesome. I'm glad they do that. But in this particular one, the quality control putting this one on was very bad. It's actually pulled up on both sides. It's not sitting on very well at all. It's actually peeling up already on this side. I could probably fix it. This is the first time I've ever actually seen one of these where the decal was that bad, especially the marquee. Usually that was always I assume put on first and then installed. It looks like almost it was installed and then put the decal on top, because that's kind of how it's like sitting on there. But let's turn this little guy on here. We'll hit the little switch on the back. And one thing real quick, your speaker is on the bottom right here. It's got little feet. So the case is very, very nice. And I'm just going to turn it on. And I'm going to do that again. He actually says, "Hi, I'm turned on," in Q-Bert English, but you can't understand him. So hold on. Hello, I'm turned on. And once again, you can see these are not the arcade ROMs. They never claim to be. But I will say that Super Impulse is very good at recreations. They come pretty close. The one downside is the frame rates on these are generally not super high. But it's really not that bad. Again, you're talking about something that's a $12 keychain you can get at Wal-Mart. So for that, it's still phenomenal. And they do a very good job at recreating the game. Now, in playing this beforehand, the only thing I realized or noticed, the sound samples have always been very, very good. But on this one, Coily, who is your snake, when you drive him off the edge, he uses screams as he falls. That scream sound effect is missing. That's about the only thing I noticed that really wasn't true to the arcade. And some other small things like the arrows pointing there are very, very fast. But again, unless you played the game a ton in the 80s, you wouldn't even notice. So I'm just kind of nitpicking. But that's kind of not too bad if that's all I can nitpick about. So let's try the game here. We're going to press this button here, which you put the coin in, and start the game. And I will again mention that the joystick is not a standard up, down, left, and right, which is perfect. It is set up as an isometric joystick. And Q-Bert handles very, very well. Now, of course, I'm playing this through a viewfinder, and you already know I'm not the best at playing these games to begin with. But, oh, I don't want to get clonked. He's going to clonk me. So I'm going to do my best to play the game here through the viewfinder. So Q-Bert has his little cursing, which is kind of nice it was there. And when you finish a level, which is changing all the colored squares, you'll begin your next level. Here comes a Coily. Hopefully he will get to the bottom and I can try and bring him to the top. See, it did not have the Coily scream. But that's the only sound effect that is missing as far as I can tell. Okay, that's a game over. So what I'm going to do now is, you can see right here, you can enter a name for a high score, and you can put it in, but if you do turn the machine off, it's not going to save it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm simply going to get a closer screenshot of the screen and play it again. I'm not really going to save a name in here because it's just not going to save once I turn the machine off. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's try this a little bit closer. I keep my finger out of the way. But it plays very, very well. The controls are very responsive. The volume of the sound effects are really, really good. And the gameplay is spot on. Those are all the important things you want to have in the game. So I've always been impressed with Super Impulse's games. There actually hasn't been any that's really disappointed in the gameplay or how the game was designed and plays on these small screens. What's really enjoyed is they've always had really good joysticks. As I kill myself. And although most games are always, the controllers are your biggest, connection to the game, with Q-Bert it's even more so, again, because the controls have to be set up in an angle. It will not play properly otherwise. Almost got it. So let me give some final thoughts. Okay, so how do I feel about the Super Impulse Q-Bert? Well, once again, they did a really nice job. The only thing I really noticed, again, was one missing sound effect, which was Coily falling to his death, his scream. And the only other thing on this one is really just the decal here. It was just not put on very well. That was a quality control issue, but not anything wrong with the game. The two buttons work great. They've always had good working buttons. And the joystick, again, all the Super Impulse joysticks have been great. And I'm very, very happy to report that they did rotate their joystick 45 degrees so that it's actually in an X configuration versus a plus configuration. So it's very easy to control Q-Bert. And in a game like this, the controls are everything. So again, if you see this at Wal-Mart for $12.95, it's a no-brainer to pick this little guy up. Cracker Barrel, even when I purchased a lot of these at Cracker Barrel when they first came out for $19, they're still even worth it at that. So Super Impulse, please listen to me here. A keychain is nice, although I don't know too many people using these as keychains. However, it's very easy to put this on a Christmas tree or a holiday tree or any holiday that people want to have them on. Put a on mode, an off mode, and a demo on mode to keep the game playing. People do want to put this on their holiday trees. I know I do, and people have mentioned it. And with Hallmark selling things like this, but non-functional, you guys are missing on a part of the market you could definitely corner this coming holiday season. But in any case, do I recommend this little guy? I do. And if you did like the video, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends. If you see these, definitely pick them up. They are fun. And for now, everyone, remember, game on.